the tagline for Sleaford Museum is sharing our stories. And it's the sharing that's important, because we're telling a story, but we can't tell stories if we're not told stories. And we like to listen to stories as well.
You're listening to Come Here, the podcast for and about heritage attractions, where you can discover somewhere worth visiting. I'm your host, Dr. Liz Drury, a freelance voiceover artist with a background in archaeology, specialising in voiceover for the heritage sector. Each week, I chat to someone from a different museum, historic site, gallery or cultural space about why you should visit and exactly what you can expect when you get there. Mark Bamford is the chairman of Sleaford Museum, which, as you will hear shortly, is situated in a very unique building. Thank you very much for being my guest on the podcast today, Mark.
That's my pleasure, Liz. I'm really pleased to do this.
So can you first of all introduce yourself and tell us what your role is?
Yes, certainly. My name is Mark Bamford. I am the chairman of the Sleaford Museum Trust, and I have the privilege of leading a team of willing volunteers to tell the story of Sleaford, its people and its past.
So how long has Sleaford had a museum for?
Well, there have been desires to be a museum in Sleaford for many years, but it took a lot of determination from a very small band of people to get a museum opened on the 1st of April 2015. So our birthday, the 1st of April, we've been open for 11 years.
And tell me about the museum. What building is it in?
Well, that's what makes it rather special, because it is, of course, built into a repurposed Edwardian toilet block. When the museum was offered the toilet block as a possible location, there were a fair few people around who thought it was a crazy idea. It probably is a crazy idea, but it's worked remarkably well.
And it's a talking point, isn't it, Mark?
It is indeed. It's not only been recorded in local history, but also nationally. The Daily Telegraph reported it,
yeah.
And we've also had a line in Current Archaeology as well as the only location for Romano-British remains built into a toilet.
So how big is the museum? When you say toilet, that makes it sound tiny.
Yeah, it is. It's. I like to describe it as bijou.
Yeah.
It's very much Sleaford's TARDIS, because some very clever people before my time decided on some internal decoration, which actually makes it look bigger on the inside. But it is a public toilet. It's both the ladies and the gents. And if you imagine them knocked together and all the plumbing and pipework and all the rest of it taken out and the partitions taken out, that's the kind of size we're talking about.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit like, shall I say, a big living room.
Yeah.
A big living.
Yeah. So tell me about what people can see there.
Well, we divide our collection into effectively two sections. We have a permanent section, which I'll talk about in a moment. And we have if you like, a turnover section. The turnover sections depend upon what is current, what's bubbling under, what people are interested in, and we like to respond also to local events, and we respond also to national events, and we respond also to anniversaries, and those are temporary exhibitions.
Yeah.
The other half is a little bit more permanent. We have got a very interesting collection of Romano-British material, which I've referred to already, which, if you like, tells the story of the town's origins. So that is pretty much static and permanent. And then the other half is a reflection of the life of Sleaford's main thoroughfare called Southgate back in the early Edwardian days. And that is a fairly constant exhibition which showcases all the shops and all the materials that you could buy in Sleaford in 1905.
Yeah, and what are the main differences between Sleaford then and now?
Yeah, well, like every market town, I guess, in the country, we've suffered massively from the movement out of the high street. There was a time when, in 1905, you could buy anything you wanted in the country almost in Sleaford High Street. Somebody would sell it to you or get it for you. Nowadays, of course, we have only those premises which, largely speaking, provide things you can't get online, like your haircut or your nails done, or a tanning. Yes.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you have temporary exhibitions that are changing all the time. So presumably then you've got a lot of material that's not on display. And where do you keep all of that?
Yeah, we've got about 4,000 artifacts altogether on charge. Nothing there particularly valuable in terms of monetary value, but we have got 2 large 30-foot shipping containers, which are on, in fact, they're on the Sleaford Cemetery site. We've got a space on the Sleaford Cemetery site. And they are 2 30-foot shipping containers which have been boarded out and environmentally stabilized. The more modern of the 2 is completely put over to storage. The one that we had originally, which has been in for about 6 years, has got an office for our curator and our archivist to work from. So we're a little bit multi-site, and that's where the artifacts are stored.
Yeah, yeah. What would you say are the highlights of your collections?
Well, I personally like the Romano-British stuff. It's all pretty ordinary, and I think that makes the point that Sleaford was a little bit of a backwater in the 1st century CE. But nonetheless, it did serve a purpose. We like to say that we think that the good people of Sleaford at that time, who were an Iron Age tribe called the Corolatavi, got on rather well with the Romans because the Romans didn't write about them. The Romans don't even mention them at all. And so, because of that, we think that the relationship between the Romans, the Roman army, and the auxiliary armies was probably pretty good. And because of the mundane nature of the artifacts, I think that underlines that particular story. But nonetheless, they are quite important. There's one item. Shall I tell you about one item in there in particular?
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's what we call the alphabet pot. We've only got a little piece of it, but we've had it identified as a milk strainer, and it's very much vernacular ware. It's very much an ordinary piece of everyday kitchenware.
Yeah.
Somebody's taken the trouble to scratch the Roman alphabet underneath it, and we've got the piece that doesn't have, of course, the J, because the Romans didn't have the letter J. And so our alphabet pot, we don't know why somebody should have taken the trouble to have scratched the Roman alphabet there, probably just because they could.
Yeah.
and that we think is absolutely fascinating. And we've had a replica of that made by a very talented man from Lincoln, who's actually built us a replica of it, and we use that to tell the story. So that's a favourite of mine.
Yeah. So from how far afield do your artefacts come? Are they all from very local to Sleaford?
We like to keep them to our postal district of NG34. Sleaford being a market town, the villages surrounding Sleaford are very much part and parcel of the community. They made use of Sleaford as a market town, and they serviced Sleaford as a market town, and Sleaford serviced them. So that's the relationship. I like to call it NG34, the postcode. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah. And are you still accepting donations of artifacts from people?
Oh, absolutely. We don't buy anything at all. We've never bought a blessed thing. We've only ever taken in artifacts which very kind people have dug from their attics, their sheds, underneath the beds, passed on to them by grandparents, that kind of thing. We get these in all the time. I'm saying we probably get them in dribs and drabs, but couple of weeks perhaps. We can't take everything, particularly the bigger things, but the smaller things are really very important to us. Because we also keep the archive as well, so documents are useful to us too. Although they don't readily display very well, they contain a tremendous amount of information, which is used by local historians for research.
Yeah, and how accessible is that material for people who are doing research?
It's not a problem. People are very welcome to visit the archive and to visit the store. So one of the things in particular that we've actually got is we've got the whole of the Sleaford Standard, which was our local newspaper, which is our local newspaper. We've got the whole of the Sleaford Standard's photographic archive. So when the Sleaford Standard went over to digital photography, their wet photography, if you like, their analog photographs needed a home, and we've given them a home, and we've got everything that they ever produced. And the Sleaford Standard come backwards and forwards to get material, obviously, for stories to illustrate their stories.
Yeah.
And also it's available to our researchers as well.
Oh, that's a great archive to have. So what can visitors expect when they arrive? What's the first thing they experience?
Well, I'm rather hoping that the first thing they experience is a very, very warm welcome from the volunteers that run the museum. In actual fact, we call them welcomers for that particular reason. I have got a fantastic bunch of volunteers who run the museum and welcome visitors, and basically offer them the chance of a tour if they would like, or if they'd like to just help themselves and have a wander around, that's absolutely fine. And I've got welcomers who are very knowledgeable about the history of the town. Quite a few of them have lived here a lot longer than I have, and have got much more right to be able to tell the stories of Sleaford than me. But that's what they would see. And what they will see is a very bright, open space, which is largely pink and light blue. Those, if you like, are our mascot colours. And they can work their way around, and they will pick up, first of all, on Southgate when they come in through the door. And then as they move down through the museum, they will see other things associated with, as I explained earlier, perhaps the temporary exhibitions. Can I just mention one of those, which I think is rather good?
Please do.
It gives you an example of the kind of thing we do. In the middle of March, we lost our last clearing bank. Lloyd's Bank closed its doors in Sleaford. At the same time, the Halifax Building Society closed its doors. So effectively, bespoke banking buildings belonging to single companies, apart from our good friends at the Nationwide, who are still going, but had closed their doors. So we mounted an exhibition on banking in Sleaford. And the day after Lloyd's closed, that exhibition was in the museum. And we're rather proud of that kind of responsiveness that we can do.
Yeah. So tell me, what other exhibitions have you got coming up?
Right. Well, the major exhibition we have in at the moment is about Sleaford Castle. We have in the window of the museum a splendid model of Sleaford Castle as it was in the late 12th century, or at least we believe it was in the late 12th century. And we have a number of panels and exhibition items that tell the story of Sleaford Castle and its 450 years of history. That exhibition is due to last through until July, when in July we are in the amazingly fortunate position to have been in receipt of an art fund grant to be able to mount a joint exhibition with our colleagues at the Hub in Sleaford called Reimagining Your Collection. And the idea there is that we have commissioned artists to actually have access to our artifact, our collection, and come up with whatever they will in response to those artifacts. Now, I have absolutely no idea what they're going to come up with. The artists have been appointed. They've had access to the collection, and they've now gone away and produced. So our next major exhibition will be in the window of the museum, in the window area of the museum, where the castle model is at the moment, and that is going to be, I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting. So aside from exhibitions, do you run other kinds of events?
We do. We run 4 public talks or 4 public lectures every year. Those are largely from local historians. And we also run talks, a thing called Talks, Tea and Teasers in November to try and cheer people up in the dark days of November. We have an afternoon of cake and tea and quizzes and mini talks. Yeah, so that's always good. So that goes down quite well.
Yeah. And do you do anything for children, in the school holidays and so on?
We haven't got a tremendous amount of space, Liz. That's the trouble. We have done a little bit of that in the past, but what we tend to do is actually go out into the schools rather than actually invite them in. We take things to the schools and we respond to their requests. If you see what I mean.
Yeah. And how accessible is the museum for people who've got mobility issues?
It's completely wheelchair friendly. No difficulties whatsoever with that. Yeah, completely wheelchair friendly, dog friendly, children friendly. It's flat access, no problems whatsoever.
Yeah. And do you have a shop or a little cafe or anything?
We don't have a cafe, but we do have some items on sale. These are largely speaking items which are books and postcards, and we've got mugs representing the story of the castle and that kind of thing. So yes, not a vast collection, but some items that people can purchase.
Yeah. And is there parking at the museum?
No, not directly outside, but the public car parks in Sleaford are very close. The museum sits actually at the head of Southgate, so the nearest parking is probably the railway station. But there are a number of other car parks in Sleaford that people can use, and the signage, thanks to our friends at North Kesteven District Council, is now very good indeed.
Yeah. So how long would you say people need to allow for a visit?
I would say 45 minutes would probably cover it adequately. But again, what is really good is not just the people coming to visit, but people coming to talk as well and ask questions. We're a little bit. We have been a little bit like a tourist information office when we're open. The tourist information in Sleaford sadly is closed, so we do that kind of thing. We've also had a number of visitors who've come and had a look round and talk to us because they're thinking of moving to Sleaford because Sleaford is expanding in terms of its population. Yeah. So that's also good too.
Yeah. And is there anything about the museum that people consistently say that they like or find surprising?
Yeah, I think they are surprised at how much we can get into a small space. As I said, talk about it as the Sleaford TARDIS. And it is. And this is due, as I say, to some very clever people before my time who came up with an interior design that enabled us to make maximum use of the space. And I have got a very talented curatorial team as well, who are very good at displaying artifacts in an interesting and intriguing way.
Yeah. And is there anything that's surprising that you've discovered about Sleaford since you've been working there?
Oh, good grief, yes. Almost, should I say almost weekly, I come across something that I never knew before, or somebody who lived in Sleaford who I didn't know about, or something like that. And a lot of this gets fed back to us by the people that visit the museum. Did you know my grandfather was, or my uncle was, or my aunt was? So that's a really great conduit of information.
Yeah. Is the museum open all year round?
We close for about 3 weeks over the winter. We tend to close around about the 14th of December. Mm-hmm. The window is open, and there is always a Christmas window which stays open and accessible until viewable till Christmas Eve. And then we usually give it a couple of weeks in January to try and get the Christmas blues over, and then we reopen around about the middle of January.
Yeah. And what goes on behind the scenes that visitors perhaps don't see?
Well, there's an awful lot of work in actually cataloguing and archiving the artifacts that we've got. I've got, again, my curator, Jackie Cleaver, my archivist, Jeanette Colony. They are both very talented ladies, and they spend an awful lot of time in that shipping container working on the collection. And people probably don't realise just how much work is involved in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the other thing that they do between them is they run down answers to queries, because via Facebook or via the website we get people asking questions about places, people, and things of Sleaford in the past.
Yeah. What would you say has been your most memorable moment since working at the museum?
Oh gosh, that's a really good question. I've had a couple of good ones. I think the most memorable moment perhaps was during Riverlight, which was a summer festival that we ran in Sleaford last year. We had on that Saturday we had 135 visitors to the museum. Not all at once, thankfully, not all at once, but also we had a performance outside by one of the local schools, their drama group. They did a reenactment of stories of Sleaford's past.
Yeah.
It was their take on it,
Yeah.
not our take on it. And that was absolutely fascinating. And I think I stood there and I thought, this has been a good day.
That sounds lovely. So what do you love most about Sleaford Museum?
I think I like the conversations more than anything with the people that visit. We've had people visited from right across the world. We've had people coming from New Zealand whose parents who grew up in Sleaford and then travelled to live in New Zealand and come back. That's probably the best bit. It's listening to people's stories. The tagline for Sleaford Museum is sharing our stories, and it's the sharing that's important, because we're telling a story, but we can't tell stories if we're not told stories, and we like to listen to stories as well.
Yeah, that's lovely. Is there a cost to visiting the museum?
Nope, it's absolutely free. As long as I remain chairman, it will be free. It's a service to the community. The museum was built with Heritage Lottery money, money from the town council, money from the district council. So really, the museum belongs to the people of Sleaford, and we don't make a cost. But we do try to encourage donations. We try everything in the book in order to wrench money from people, just to help us run the place. But that's becoming I have to admit, that's becoming more and more difficult as the years go by.
Yeah, I'm sure that must be one of your biggest challenges, is it? Just keeping things going.
Yes, we do. We have to rely on other activities. For example, I go out and I do talks in the community, and I usually ask for a donation to the museum in response to that talk. And if it weren't for those kind of inputs, we would struggle. We have a scheme where you can be a member of the Sleaford Museum Trust for not very much money at all. I'm not going to do an advert list. For not very much money at all. See the website if you're interested. And we rely on members of the Museum Trust in also to help finance what we do.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for being my guest. It sounds like an absolutely fascinating little museum.
It's been a pleasure, Liz. Thank you very much for asking me to do this.
Thanks for listening to Come Here. If you know a heritage attraction that would love to be featured, or you have a suggestion for somewhere you'd like me to cover, I'd love to hear from you. To find my email address and find out more about me, pop to my website at lizdrury.com. If you've enjoyed this episode, please do subscribe, rate and review the show. It really helps other people to find it. See you next time, and come and discover somewhere else worth visiting.